Okay, quick Thursday morning radar update. So, got some more continuation today. We're through the opening range high, 4 on the floor. Four markets blasted through the highs, only just. Let's have a look. We're bumbling around on those areas. So, coming into the zombie session, we'll see if we can hold some pretty strong relative strength on these markets. It's nice when you see them all agreeing for once. That will result in a gap up in the US if we can hold that, so mind the gap, obviously, if you trade US stocks. Open interest in the US, well, opening gap on the futures, should I say. So, still a little bit, what's the word for it? Nervous in the small cap market. But let's just jump straight into it. There's a little bit of dollar weakness again today. We're just bumbling around that sort of breakout area. And miners are having a good day again. Technically, they look horrible, don't they, though? So, in my world, if miners make a really good move, a really nice sort of move back to highs, the commodities are doing better than the stocks, basically. And if the stocks set up, hit the screens, I will take it. I do not chase a sector move for the sake of it, is basically what I'm trying to get across there. Is there a sector move yet? Not really. Just see if they're starting to ignore that sort of dollar strength, aren't they? So, we will see them when they start to set up. Moving on from that, let's just jump straight into the volume leaders today. It is 10 o'clock exactly. We should have traded 23% to be on average volume. That will be 35% to be on conviction. We're on volume today, obviously. We're starting to see the investment trust populate the list as well. So here we go. All doing the same thing as usual, virtually all anyway. GEN, obviously I have a position in this. Ignore that spike on the open, that was just a wide bit of open interest on it. Caused that horrible looking stick. FAN, obviously we saw this 2 days ago. Yep, doesn't mean it won't work out fine, just not my area of interest. I try and get on board this kind of stock. My area of interest is obviously to capture. Only got so much money to spread around. I want to always be buying sort of emerging new trends, what can build over time. VLX, obviously have a position in that. Marley's outside barking at the neighbour's dog. And that's Henry doing the same. Man Group obviously at the swing screens last week, didn't it? Or was it Monday for Tuesday? Yeah, I think it was. Tune, deeper retrace on that one. Obviously stage 1, 2, 3, 4. Savills. And DSCV's in there as well. And I know it's high in the GTRS. I'll just bring it over for you. Already had it ready because I was expecting someone to ask. Yeah, first retrace, kind of a base actually. First retrace, second retrace, third retrace. I'd say this is more likely it's going to be a base than just a high. But whatever, doesn't matter. It's not where I'm going to be interested in it. Even though it can work out fine. What did I say? 23%. I think that was right, yep. And small caps, same in order of sector. Let's just buzz through these. Lit. So this is what we call the scenic route, isn't it? We had a swing point on it here. And this is a good lesson in signal threshold. So, you know, obviously I bring up the 1 day swing point. So there it is, 1 day swing point. Drifts lower. We get another one, high volume one this time. It drifts a bit lower again. We get an outside up, hits the screens on that day as well on the as an outside up. This one sticks. No, it doesn't. You know, it does trade below that again. And then we get another swing point there, and that one sticks finally. My screens will always bring up the 1 day signal. What happens if you move to a 2 day? Well, you still get signal there. You still get signal there. You still get an outside up there. You get another outside up here. So it doesn't really change that thing, the fact. But when you're going into a stock like this, what's more of a choppy, sort of smaller cap sort of stock, what I'm trying to get across here is aggressively being a swing trader of this kind of stock is going to be death by 1,000 cuts. 1 cut, 2 cut, 3 cut. If you was aggressive sort of, you know, you're going to get more paper cuts is basically what I'm saying. So that's why I always show the staggered entry on these things, and then make your own mind up where you are wrong. But that's a little bit on signal threshold. Some of them do that. You know, coming into a normal area is the 5 for me anyway. But as you can see, this was a first retrace. This was a second retrace. So that puts a little bit weight around it. It might be a little bit choppier on this one. AVG, kind of, we have a kind of base on that as well, don't we? Anglesey mining. There's a few POS miners starting to hit the screens. Phoenix Copper there. Lose more scenarios. Savannah. This S32 has been in the GTRS all the way back to sort of last year when the base was as well. It's just lower beta than I want in my account, so that's why I was also riding JLP. Choose what you want to own. A Jarvis, obviously it's been a GTR leader all the way through this area here. It was top 5, and you know, it's still stair-stepping, still in play, hanging in there. GKP's reverse volt base, Hurricane Energy. There's a big level on this, and it's a recovery prospect into the voodoo average. Look at that top we nailed there. So, you know, not for me. Moving on. Oil and gas is doing pretty well today as well, isn't it? KAST, obviously, you know, IPO breakout, first retrace. Let me just put it back on the 1 day chart so you can see. First retrace here, came back in through another first retrace. Swing point, then we got a little base level, then it got halted, it went sideways forever, kind of mutated into a bigger base, as you will see, and then off it went on its little journey again. So working for anyone who took those early entries, they're starting to get a good return on those. An amazing amount of opinion between and market calls between, you know, when a lot of these stocks set off on the journeys and where they are now. Unbelievable amount of noise, you know. How many top calls has there been in the market? You know, it is what it is. So Virtue obviously was on the reward to risk. Now it's potential double top makes a base, potential base. If it breaks out, I would say first retrace. If I was building a position from here, you know, the old staggered approach, you know, I would add above there if I was, you know, if I was going to trade it as a pullback entry. You know, it was already there. It's you know, if I was trading it as a breakout, there was a reverse vol base here. It was there, you know. So the add point is above that high. I don't initiate positions on higher highs. I only add to previous positions I'm already getting my core on. A little bit of off-piste again this morning. So that is today's volume leaders. It's not very exciting out there. It's nice to see Ergo on volume. No, Ergo's not on volume. Thought it was on volume. SRC was on volume, wasn't it? VLX is on volume. GEN's on volume. So SRC, first retrace to this base. This one's, I'm talking my own book here. I've got a position from here and I've built it all the way up. So got a good position running on this from lower levels. But we had this little base here, didn't we? And I took another position, I think, here in its own right. And that one's still doing fine. So if it holds this level here, if it moves above this level here, when we see a mean trend, we always put a high in the market. Say we, me, I do. 114.5. That didn't work, did it? $114.5. Always put trail first because I always trail, and I always put a question mark on the add. So trail is a given, add is a, you know, whether I want to, whether I can afford to at the time. So moves to mean trend. If it moves back above there, it's had a meaningful correction. Back to highs, trend mode is confirmed. There will be whipsaws. Okay,